Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih, thank you to every one of my friends who are now sharing their time with me here on live Facebook. We have a few already watching. First of all, I would like to say Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much for all the dua and your prayers, which has given me motivation and which has been listened to by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm able today to speak with you, to share what has happened to me in the last nearly 2 months. Since we do have a non-Malaysian friend here watching as well, I'll be speaking mainly in English. The day was 1st of October. 1st October 2017. I was shopping, grocery shopping with my wife Aisha in Panda supermarket after Dhuhr prayer. It was a normal day, and I was going around the shelf and the aisles looking for things to fill up the trolley. After all, the next day I was supposed to go to Riyadh for duty. When the trolley was nearly filled and we were about ready to go to the counter, I suddenly felt like the main switch of my inner self was switched off. I felt so tired, suddenly, lost all the energy, and I told my wife, I said, I have to go out, find a place to sit, because I was feeling so tired. I went out, found a place to sit, and as soon as I sat down, I had a chest pain. I couldn't breathe. I was clutching on to my chest. I knew at that time that I had a heart attack. Fortunately, Aisha was following me from behind, and she immediately called upon a Saudi guy who happened to be nearby us and asked the gentleman to call for an ambulance. See, Allah is the master planner. I had a heart attack in a public place, in a shopping mall, where there were people who could have helped us and who did help us. Imagine if it was in my own house. None of us, Aisha and myself, speak Arabic. We didn't have a driver and nobody else at home. Luqman was at school. It would have been very difficult even to call ambulance and to describe our location for them to pick up. Subhanallah, Allah planned everything. It happened in a shopping mall. Aisha was able to call upon somebody there to call for an ambulance. And she must have read something about attending to heart attack emergency case, because she also immediately called for aspirins from the supermarket. I was fasting. It was second day of Ashura, so I didn't have any food from before Fajr. So they brought me mineral water bottle and 2 aspirins. I took the aspirins, and I felt so tired. I lost all the energy. My immediate instinct was to lie down. So I told my wife, I said, I need to lie down. I'm so tired. But she resisted. She said, no, you have to sit up and you have to fight. You have to breathe. Don't let go. You have to fight. So that was Aisha for you. And she took the I don't know what you call it, the pin for her tudung, for her scarf. And with the pin, she poked every one of my finger until blood came out. Again, that was something that she must have read to prevent any stroke. So yes, there was nothing. The pain of the poke at the fingertip was nothing compared to the chest pain that I had and the difficulty in breathing. I was gasping for my breath. Then the paramedic arrived. Before the ambulance arrived, the paramedic arrived. They took my blood pressure. My blood pressure at that time was 50/40. My heart was hardly pumping. And I felt cold, so I asked for a blanket. Again, the supermarket was very kind, very responsive, very caring. They took brand new blanket from their shelf and covered me up. And two of the gentlemen helped me up because I was like a vegetable. I was so tired. I wanted to lie down. They helped me up. One of them was rubbing my chest while reciting some Quranic verses. And he kept telling me, "Don't worry. You are a believer. Allah will look after you. Don't worry, brother." I felt so touched by the gesture and caringness of the people there, total strangers. Different culture, but humanity overrides everything. Then the paramedic gave me 2 more aspirins so that my blood could flow easily, and also put oxygen to my supply to my nose for breathing, and they put a drip. I don't know what was it for, but the drip, I think it was for chest pain. On that day, I didn't bring this spray. See, when I was in Malaysia for Eid, I had similar symptoms, and when I did my examination in Malaysia, one of the doctors prescribed to me this spray, and he even told me, he said, "Arifin, you can get heart attack at any time. Never leave home without this spray, and when you have a heart attack, spray under your tongue." It was an advice that I took lightly because I felt fine. It's a lesson. The lesson is to take whatever your doctor advises you seriously. Maybe you want to have second opinion, but generally the doctor would agree on technical things about your health. The ambulance came. 2 or 3 guys helped me up onto the stretcher. They pushed me onto the ambulance. And Aisha again told the ambulance to bring me to the nearest hospital. It may not be the best hospital in Jeddah, but to her, it was very important that I get medical attention as fast as I could, because it was already half an hour that I had a chest pain, had my heart attack. So we went to a hospital, which was also about 20 minutes ride by ambulance. My first experience riding in an ambulance, either as a patient or to accompany a patient. The paramedic who accompanied me, again, was very proactive, I would say. He called the hospital to get ready for an emergency case of a heart patient. So upon arrival at the emergency, I was taken into a special room. There were nurses there. They changed my dress, my clothes into the gown, hospital gown. They gave me about 10 tablets. I didn't even question what were the tablets for. They shaved my crotch. Preparation for operation. They put drip. They give oxygen. And within 15 minutes, I was ready and they rushed me to the operating theater. Basically, they were running, while at the same time telling me everything was going to be all right. So, this is something that you don't get too many times. Heart attack, I meant. Maybe once. So you don't have preparation. So when it happened, it happened. And what I did was I just went with the flow. I have learned one short dua which kept me calm. La taqaf wa la tahzan inna Allaha ma'ana. Don't be afraid, don't be sad, Allah is with me. So I kept saying the same dua while waiting for the cardiologist or the surgeon to come. La taqaf wa la tahzan inna Allaha ma'ana. Don't be sad, don't be afraid, don't be sad, Allah is with me. I kept saying that. So finally the cardiologist arrived. I asked him, Doctor, how's my condition? He said, we have to do tests, but you had a heart attack. And he gave me a measurement of the enzyme in the blood as an indication that I had a heart attack. It was reading like 50,000, whereas the upper limit for the enzyme in the blood is supposed to be no more than 26. He was very experienced. He's an Egyptian. And he immediately went for the thigh to get the main artery there. And I felt pain only when they were doing the local anesthetic. After that, no more pain. They just prick a hole and the catheter was inserted. I was conscious all the time and I could see on the screen when the catheter and the camera actually arrived at the targeted area. And the doctor, the cardiologist, immediately told me, said you had 2 places where we had to do intervention. One of the arteries was completely blocked, 100%, and one was more than 70% blocked. So they did 2 stents for the 2 arteries. They focused on those 2. I knew from Kuala Lumpur IGN diagnosis earlier that I had 5 places of narrowing arteries. But the doctor at the IGN told me at that time that all of the 5 were below 50%. There was no need for intervention. I could manage with medication. And that was dated 1st of July. So it's amazing, my friends, within 3 months, what was below 50% developed into 100% blockage. Although I was on medication starting from 1st of July. Allah wills everything, and I try to rationalize, even in the operating theater. Perhaps it was Allah's answer to my prayer. Because while 1st of October was on Sunday, on Saturday and Friday I was in Mecca. And I did Umrah. On Friday, when I was doing Umrah, I went into Hijr Ismail and I was praying. I prayed to Allah. I said, Ya Allah, you know the sickness that I have inside me. Please cure all of these blockages that I have in my heart and all other sicknesses and illness. Ya Allah, please cure me. All this come from you, and I know only you can give me the healing, and I 100% depends on you. I cried in Hijr Ismail while I was praying. So I rationalized what happened to me on Sunday was a way of Allah answering my prayer so that I can be cured of whatever I had illnesses with my heart. Alhamdulillah. I was in the operating theater for about 2.5 hours. Then they wheeled me out to the CCU, or cardiac care unit. I was placed in the cubicle nearest to the observing team of nurses. All of them were very professional, very efficient, and very human. I was treated very well. I was calm all the time until I saw my wife and a few of my close friends. And then I broke down. Not because I was sad. I was not. See, one thing I didn't feel was I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel sadness. I felt gratefulness that Allah saved me. I felt gratefulness that I have a wife who's always with me, and I have a few close friends who's there when I need them. That brought tears to my eyes. So I was in the CCU under the care of Dr. Rami from Egypt also. So all the cardiologists there were are Egyptians. Nurses were either from India or from Philippines. I couldn't move for 12 hours because the injury to the main artery where they inserted the probe, the catheter, had to be, my blood was so thin because of aspirin. So they need to make sure that the blood coagulates, thicken again before I can move, or before they can remove the valve that stops blood from spurting out from the main artery. So finally, after 12 hours, the doctor came and put a bandage in place of the valve. Unfortunately, half an hour after they put the bandage, I vomited. The pressure exerted on my stomach and on my system because of vomiting made blood to spurt out from that same place. So the doctor came and was there pressing on my wound for nearly an hour before another bandage was placed. So that's what happened to me on the 1st of October. And since then, I've been in and out of hospital. It was not so straightforward for me. The healing process had some complication because of side effect from the medications. See, these are all the medicines they give me. A lot of medicines. 1 in the morning before breakfast, 3 after breakfast, 2 after lunch, which is very important, 1 at 4 for chest pain, 2 after dinner, and 1 for cholesterol before sleep. What I developed was actually acid reflux. So I didn't know what was it acid reflux or was it another heart attack, because the symptoms was similar. I had the tightening of the chest pain, sweating, tightening of the arm, tightening of the jaw, exactly like the symptom I had when I had the heart attack. And when that happened, I panicked. So was Aisha. And we went to the hospital, emergency. I said, I had chest pain. Do I have heart attack again? So we ascertained that it was acid reflux and gas that developed as a side effect from medicines that I took. I was put in the CCU again for observation for 2 nights. They modify the medication. But every day, every morning, mainly in the morning, after Fajr prayer, I had this attack of acid reflux. And then I had because it kept repeating. One morning I was going for my exercise. You know that I've been updating the Facebook that I was doing little walk in the morning, about 1,000 steps, 2,000 steps. And then one morning, as I was leaving the house to go for that walk, it was about 6:10 in the morning, I had the same attack outside my house. I was flat out on the pavements outside the house. On that day, we went again for emergency. We asked the doctor to do something and to re-examine whether the stent that they have put was working, or whether there was some new blockages. They did another angiogram, this time through here. But it didn't work, because when they put the catheter through my arm, the vein clasped the catheter. So they again did it through the crotch, the leg. I was discharged after 2 nights, and then followed up with an appointment 1 week later, without any feedback. During the follow-up appointment, then only the cardiologist told me I had 3 other blockages. Now they have detected the 2 that they have done the stent, and 3 that the IJN cardiologists have seen before. That was not surprising. What was surprising was the extent of the blockages for these 3. All of them was 60% to 70%, and one of them is the main arteries. So this is the diagram of the heart. You see the ones shaded are all the problem areas. And the ones shaded here and here, these are the 2 stents that they have placed. But there's one here, this is the main artery. There's here and this here. There's 3 more blockages and narrowing, 60-70%, that we need to do something. The doctor here, the cardiologist here, told me that they couldn't do stents for this, and had to do open heart surgery and had to do bypass. I had my concern about doing open heart surgery here by people who doesn't speak my language, who doesn't have the affiliation to who we are. So I talked to my friend in Malaysia, Dr. Ishaq Masood, get his advice, and also discuss with my wife, of course, and we decided that we will indeed travel back to Malaysia, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, Allah has given me improved health now that I hope I can travel safely. on Saturday. My appointment with the cardiologist in Malaysia is on Monday. And we will see what the cardiologist would say that need to be done. All this while, besides the medication, which is supposed to cure the physical side of my illness, there was something else that has happened and I experienced which has helped me greatly. And that is the cure of my mind and my emotion and my mental. That doesn't happen through medication. That happened through faith in Allah. That happened through really believe that whatever has happened come from Allah for a reason. And Allah is the master planner of everything. Sometimes we want something that is not necessarily good for us. Sometimes we don't want something that is good for us. I rationalize that whatever has happened to me is good for me. Good for me in this dunya and good for me in akhirat, inshallah. He has changed my priority in life. He has changed completely my outlook of what is important and what is not important. He has changed my lifestyle. I sleep now at 9:30. I wake up at 4, latest 4:30. I had my time to do tahajjud, to continue to ask Allah to make me not richer, but to make me a Muslim. That is enough with whatever that I have. To make me a person that is grateful to all the rahmat and the ni'mat that Allah has given me. I pray to Allah in tahajjud so that I gain my good health. Not because I want to live forever. Not because I want to continue working, but to gain my good health so that I can continue and do more of my ibadah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has changed the way I look at Aisha and the way Aisha has looked at me. My illness has brought us a lot closer than we were. She never cried in front of me because she wanted to be strong for me. But I know sometimes when I have pain, she would disappear and she came back with red eyes, red nose. I know she cried. I could hear she cried in her sujud when she was talking to Allah, and I know she was asking Allah to give me good health, to save me in this world and for akhirat. And that's what it is. That's what I say to my friend whenever they express sadness to see what I've gone through. I said, please do not be sad for me. I actually am not sad. I'm very grateful to Allah because I was reminded, and I think something like this is a reminder for us to have a better life here. Something like this happened as a reminder for us to prepare ourselves to have a better life after. I'm sharing this not to give tazkirah to you, because I know there are better people than I am among our friends network. I'm sharing this not to feel that I'm better than any one of you in any way. I'm sharing this with humility. I'm sharing this for whatever it is worth. I felt that maybe if it can save a life by being prepared for something unforeseen, like a heart attack, and there are emergencies, procedures to follow. Aspirins is always good to thin your blood. Poking your fingers with pins until the blood come out is always good to prevent stroke. Do not lie down, do not submit, do not give up. Breathe and fight. And always remember, Allah is there for you. La taqaf wa la tahzan, inna Allaha ma'ana. Do not be sad. Do not be afraid. Do not be sad. Allah is with us. Death, everybody will die. A 40-year-old die after playing futsal. A 20-year-old die car accident. A 70-year-old die for old age sicknesses. Everybody will die. Do not be afraid of death. Be afraid if we do not remember that death will happen. Be afraid if we do not prepare ourselves. Do what we want to do in submission to Allah, because the time is now. We cannot wait. Thank you for watching. I'll be having plan after my treatment to continue living. Because yes, while we're preparing for death, we shouldn't forget to continue living. So I've stopped working. I don't have salary anymore, but I want to continue living. I have a lot that I can share. I would call upon my friends to go through the journey of sharing, of dialogue, of communication, so that together we can make this place better for all of us, better for our next generation, or better for people within our circle as a minimum. Thank you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Pray for all of us to have good health, dipanjangkan umur supaya kita boleh terus beribadah kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Doakan supaya saya selamat tiba ke Malaysia dengan penerbangan Malaysia Airlines hari Sabtu ini. Assalamualaikum.